Hi there, Zach here, and what about that Suicide Squad, huh? It's stirred up quite a bit of controversy, gotten under some people's skin, and I know I'm pretty late to the party here, and throwing a video up on the internet now is like dipping my dick in a pond and hoping a mermaid might bite, but I need to throw that out there. I need to get this off my chest. I need to put my 2 cents out there in case I can get those people who search the internet to validate their opinion or to argue with the person who has differing opinions. So you know what I think this video really needs? A new angle. Fuck it. I'm just gonna just like put it like right there. I don't give a shit. New angle. Yeah, I have a lot of shit to talk about today, guys. So I'm going to do the bare minimum effect. And first off, I just want to cover some ground, so I want to say that this is my personal opinion. If it doesn't match yours, that's fine. You know, everything else that you've heard on every other reviewer possible. And what a fucking world that we live in at the beginning of every single YouTuber or reviewer. They have to say something along those lines. If you like the movie, that's fine. If you don't like the movie, that's fine. It's all about how you feel and if you're enjoying yourselves. Yeah, that's an obvious statement. That's something that everybody should know already. Now, I agree that not everybody does that. Some people are just so like-minded that they're just like, oh, this person I typically agree with doesn't like it. I don't like it either. I haven't seen it and I'm not going to give it a shot. I'm not going to like it. Be your own person. There are plenty of reviewers out there that I find very entertaining and I typically agree with, but there's a few reviews that they do that I completely do not agree with. I don't care if Doug Walker hates The Cat in the Hat and The New Grinch. I fucking love those movies. I don't care if Yahtzee doesn't think that the Rock Band 4 was overpaid for. I love that game and it was worth every single bit of my money. You can respect somebody without actually agreeing with them. That being said, Suicide Squad made me want to commit seppuku. I hated this movie so much, I can't put it in a 10-minute review. So if you really want to stop watching right now, fine. Thanks for the few minutes that you've spent with me in my elongated beginning. But if you really like to wait to the very end and maybe hear everything I have to say, then you can say go kill yourself and leave a dislike. Sound good? And first, I would like to explain kind of the movie in the most short, simple way possible. By the way, spoilers! There are spoilers! This is a spoiler review. Are you gone yet? You should be, because here are the spoilers! Superman leaves. The government has a crazy idea to, well, let the crazies fight the overpowered aliens from other planets. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they were thinking either. The group of crazy killers go on a mission to stop a powerful enemy wanting to destroy the world. By the way, real original there, guys. And they stop it, they go back to jail, and everything is as it should be. Easy peasy, right? Well, let's start the review then. I would like to start off with the pros first off, just to butter up all those DC fanboys who are just waiting to rail right into me. And even though I really want to deny it, the action was pretty spectacular in this movie. It was really great, and it was fun to watch those times where they fought the cauliflower-headed monsters. The monsters themselves were dumb as shit looking, but the fighting of them were awesome. And it's a combination of, like, going into, like, cramped areas with these weird fucking looking monsters that really just kind of ramped up the adrenaline for me. One time they were walking through an office building, an abandoned office building, when they all fell in from the fucking ceiling. And they all had to fight them then, and then Harley Quinn fought, I think, a couple of them on an elevator. It was very interesting how they used their environments and just fucking wrecked house. It was fun to watch. It really was. And another thing that really pumped it up on my side here too was each one of them having their own separate kind of characteristics in fighting styles, at least. We'll get into their actual characteristics later on, but fighting styles, it's like Killer Croc was like hand-to-hand, smashing them against everything. Fucking Harley Quinn would hit him with a bat, kind of melee items, a hammer, anything else that you can get on. Deadshot, obviously, you know, shooting stuff, it's in his name. But each one of them had their different types of skills that was fun to just watch. You know, it was fun to watch this guy do this and then zoom right over here and watching this guy do what he's best at, and then just kind of going back and forth until everyone was dead. I gotta say, it was fun. Top notch. And I know that in video games, escort missions have to be the worst fucking thing since AIDS, but in this one, I'll give it a little bit of an exception because they had to not carry around, but they had to protect this military guy because if he died, they would all die from a little sensor in the neck that would explode and then they'd be dead. And so when all the little cauliflower monsters jumped on him, the entire team just rushed right over and beat the shit out of them too. The violence was great, and I loved it. Speaking of characters, I definitely do think Deadshot has to be probably one of the best things of the entire movie. His story was great. His motivations were great as well. He was an overall good, rounded character, and he was played by Will Smith. Who doesn't love Will Smith, besides people who contemplate suicide every single day? He has a child. The child knows that he kills people for money. She doesn't like it. Hell, this kid was the main reason why he got caught. Batman pretty much jumped him down a corner one day. He was just about gonna pop the bat, and then the kid walked in the way saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You can't shoot Batman. It's Batman." Or she didn't say that, but I'm just saying. Overall, he was really great. I like Will Smith. I liked how he brought some of that old Willie style that he had in other movies. He was a great character. If all of the characters were like that, I would actually be less mad. Way less mad. I might have given this a positive review. And the final fight scene was good. Not the final climax where they just threw a fucking bomb into a portal and it blew up and then closed. That was stupid as shit. But it was kind of cool seeing El Diablo turn Super Saiyan or whatever and fucking fight Incubus, which is the brother. We'll get into villains. Pretty much big hulking dude. El Diablo, which is just a little human, turned into a big hulking skeleton with fucking feathers in it. He looked badass. He looked really fucking cool. And that's all I really have for the positives. I really did not have a lot of good things to say about this, and I really had to scratch up to the bottom of the barrel just for that. Now, I've heard a lot of reviewers talk about, well, the bar scene was good. It was actually good, and I just found it very passable. I mean, it was nice that they finally sat down and started fucking talking, but they really didn't show much of themselves at that point because of all the editing or the fucking flashbacks. Onto the cons. And to start off the cons, all I gotta say is 3 words. The fucking soundtracks. What the hell? I literally counted the first half hour, 40 minutes. I wasn't really paying attention to the time all that much here, but half an hour, 40 minutes, I counted at least 13 different soundtracks. Now, true, some of the soundtracks were, 30 seconds long, but I'm sorry, did we really need that much soundtracks in here? Did you guys really not want to get in the original music and you just thought, we'll just buy all the music? Fuck it! We're Warner Brothers, we got the money, buy all the music. Let's not make any ourselves. Let's not, put originality into this. Let's just take a bunch of shit. Or were you really trying to just lull people in? Like, oh, cool, it has Queen. It has Queen on here. Obviously, it's going to be, The Rising Sun. Oh, I love that song. I could love it. Oh, it's great. No, it's just lazy, and it really drew me out of the actual the actual movie, especially scenes where I could just see them not having it, and they probably would have been better. Dirt silence, maybe the sound of somebody walking, but we don't need a sound effect when one of the main people, not really the main person, but when one person walks into a building. Don't need one. Just show her walking into the building. Show her sitting down at the table and starting to eat her fucking steak in the most annoying way possible. Just show that. You don't need the soundtrack. Silence does help sometimes in movies. Silence does make good moments in movies. Silence is powerful if you match it with the correct visual response. But walking into a house, walking into a building, doesn't do anything. Suicide Squad, if I wanted to hear the best of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I'll just open up my Pandora. Okay? And another super big flaw in this movie is just the flow of it. The flow of it is so fucked up. And you know that it's not 100% the movie's fault, but also the studio, the company that was kind of overwatching the entire thing. Because you could tell there are edits like crazy. Edits are fine. But if you have like flashback, regular time, flashback, go back to the very beginning in this flashback, go back, it's fucking too much. It's too much, okay? Have a nice flowing, let it go, throw a flashback in there once in a while. It shouldn't be the entirety of explaining what a character is. It shouldn't, okay? I would rather have Harley Quinn have told me about meeting the Joker and everything else like that than fucking seeing the flashback after flashback determining why she likes the Joker, which I still didn't even get. Your flashbacks were shit. I felt no emotional connection to anything. And since we're kind of talking about the characters and everything else like that, let's go through our myriad of colorful characters, why don't we? Let's just look through them. And I gotta tell you guys, they're a group of rabble-rousers, I'll tell you what. First, there's Deadshot, the most protagonist anti-hero in our group of anti-heroes, because let's be honest, nobody's a villain in this villain movie. Like I mentioned before, he has the most charisma, he has the most comedy to him, he has the most action, he is the most rounded person, but that's not a step up in this movie. Then there's Harley Quinn, which, in my opinion, is one of the most annoying characters in the entire film. She is nothing but a quip machine and a bad joke dispenser. And instead of laughing at her dumb jokes, I just roll my eyes at every forced humor moment with her. Then there's Killer Croc. Probably the most interesting looking character that really doesn't have a backstory that they really wanted to go into. So, big middle finger to him. Then there's Captain Boomerang, another comic relief character that's more relief than comic when he finally fucking stops talking. Not much of a story but with him, besides he likes to rob banks. Then we have Slipknot. Spoiler alert, he dies right away, so fuck him. Katana, she is employed by the government to keep the criminals in check. There is a story about her sword absorbing souls, and her husband's soul is in it. A very interesting sounding story, but she's explained in less than 4 sentences total, so another fuck you. Then there is El Diablo, a runner-up of the most defined villain of this group. He's super powerful, he accidentally killed his wife and kids, and now he's a pacifist. Pretty much it. But I'll give you a hint. He doesn't stay that way for long, because this movie is anything but unpredictable. So, that's all of them, besides the main soldier that walks through them, which is Rick Flag, and the head of the whole operation, which is Amanda Waller. Both aren't really interesting enough to go into, so what we have here is one good defined character, one frustratingly annoying defined character, 2 government nobodies, and 5 planks of wood with different sets of skills. Hell, I might as well have switched them all out with Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy for how much we know about them. Most of them don't have a backstory. Most of them are never talked about besides the, oh look, he looks like a crocodile. Oh, he must be from Australia. Oh, he likes to rob banks. That's all we get from them. But for Deadshot, we got, he's a family man. He cares about his kid. He tries his best to get his kid back from his wife, ex-wife or whatever. We have plenty about him. And then we have Harley Quinn, the person I hate, but everyone else on the internet seems to love, so I'm not going to rag on her too much. But she loves the Joker. She was a psychiatrist in Arkham. She was, coerced into being evil, into getting him machine guns so they could break out. She was tortured by him. So much stuff. And I really want to know, what about Killer Croc? That's all I care about. Have you seen this guy? And if you don't know his backstory, I mean, depending on the universe that you go to, he was born that way. He got made fun of a lot when he was a kid by being called ugly and a reject and everything else like that. So in the film, when they have this bar scene and he says, I'm beautiful, it makes no fucking sense until you know the backstory where he was made fun of as a kid. And speaking of badly set up individuals, let's talk about the villain. And no, I'm not talking about the villains that are in this group. I'm talking about the overall arc villain of this entire movie. Her name is Enchantress. She's some sort of demi-deity, kinda, from, I think, Egyptian times. She has a brother named Incubus who helps her out with taking over everything. Looks suspiciously like the Destroyer from Thor, but I'm not going to step on any toes here. They were found by some archaeologists who decided to just pick up a vial instead of fucking handling it with care, just fucking breaks it. Yeah, it just snaps the top right off. They must have gotten her from fucking Craigslist. What the fuck? But basically, this deity, Enchantress, I should just say, she takes over the body of the archaeologist, and then, you know, takes the other vial and snaps it open and ingests in some other guy, and they resurrect, and she wants to make a machine that will destroy everybody in the world or something. Because to be fair, it just looks like it made a storm of metal. That's all it really did. It did not look impressive. It did not look life-threatening. It was just a beam shooting out from the ground. Just shooting into the air. Was it conjuring something? Not really. Was it like pulling another planet towards him to destroy everybody? Not really. No. It was just shooting up in the air. And I'm not gonna lie, this villain couple, their powers are cool. When the brother was first introduced to another male, he got these fucking tendrils and he stepped out in the middle of a train yard and fucking split the train right in half. He would, you know, absorb people into his body. He was actually pretty cool, but he looked like a CGI mess when he actually, you know, got to his final form. He looked awful, like pre-2010 CGI. It was terrible. And they're very flouty. They speak like olden times, which, you know, once the sun, you know, extinguishes from the sky, our love shall know the bounds and the slings of everybody's pity, or something like that. You know, I was just kind of coming up with that off the top of my head. And one of the parts I should have laughed at, but I was just so fucking mad because of the entire movie, is they've been talking like that the entire movie, right back and forth with each other, and as soon at the very end, when they finally defeat her, and somebody was wanting to kill her, she just said, "You don't have the balls for it." The most plain way of saying it. You don't have the balls for it. You've been talking like a thespian this entire time. Why couldn't you have thought of something else? And you know what? I could talk about what everyone else has been talking about. I could talk about what all the reviewers have been talking about. I went into this without watching those reviewers or any reviews whatsoever because I wanted to have a clean slate so nobody would tempt my decision. Everything that I thought of right now was my decision, but there's one thing that I have not heard any reviewer talking about, and everyone's talking about it. I might have just missed it or something like that, but is there any fucking reason why there's such a positive vibe throughout this entire film? This is a film about a group of villains. People who killed, people who have ruined others' lives, destroyed, set fire to everything. These are badass fucking people, but apparently when they band together, they don't try to kill each other. We're all a big huggy-muggy family because we're all bad guys, so let's just give each other a hug. Why would this ever be it? There was a point in the movie when Deadshot was supposed to shoot Harley Quinn for freedom. He would have gotten completely free. He was supposed to shoot her, shot at her, purposely missed because he's Deadshot and he never misses. Why? Because apparently they like each other. From the one day that they've known each other, all of a sudden, yep, I absolutely love these people. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And near the end of the movie, nobody dies. Nobody, I mean, there's some people that die. Spoiler, I don't know if you're still in here, why I would even need to say spoiler, but El Diablo dies. Okay, I mean, he had a pretty cool fucking fight before dying, so sure, why not? Then there was Joker when he was trying to carry away Harley Quinn on previously mentioned scene when Deadshot shot at her. He apparently went down in a crash. Big surprise, he's not dead, because who would kill off Joker? Nobody. And then the woman that was possessed by Enchantress doesn't die. Apparently, without going into detail, everyone was like, oh, but if you kill her, then the other one will die too. Okay, then. That's going to be the first negative thing that has happened in this entire movie. It would actually be realistic to see her die because Enchantress had such a hold on her. It would be great. Nope. Just peels off the skin like she's molting. Nope, she's fine. Yeah, why not? Why not? No, in a movie that's just full of villains, why not? Everybody lives. Here's a free pass for everybody. Hell, wait until Suicide Squad 2 if they come out, and then maybe El Diablo will come back as fucking Ghost. I hate this movie. I hate it so much, and I know that this review seemed like more of a ramble, but I do. And I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, it's because you're a Marvel fan. It's because you like Marvel more than DC. And you know what? Fine. You got me. You got me. I like Marvel. I don't know if you saw this at the very beginning. I have a Captain America shield. I have a Captain America face mask. I like Marvel more than DC, but that doesn't mean anything. This was DC's chance to say, look, we could be just as good as Marvel. Come to our side. Let me show you this movie and see if you're gonna like it. And I did not like it. And counterpoint, one thing I do like more than Marvel movies and the Marvel franchise is Batman villains. I love Batman villains. I love the Joker, the Riddler, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, even Calendar Man. I could even give some prop points to him. They have very clever villains. So even though I didn't watch any of the Superman movies, I didn't watch any of the Superman vs. Batman, I didn't watch either of those, I would still give this one a chance. This was my turn to walk into here saying, okay, I love all the villains, and this one has a ton of Batman villains in it. I'm gonna love this if it's well done, and it wasn't. It was absolute shit. And I gave DC my money, full cash, at the very beginning when they make the most money in the movie theaters, because, believe it or not, I want DC to fucking win one. I want them to. They have lost so many rounds against Marvel, and if you live in a world that's the only fast food place is McDonald's, sure, you love McDonald's right now, but 5 years down the road, you're going to tell yourself, if I eat another fucking McChicken, I'm going to kill myself. The world needs both Marvel and DC. I want DC to win. I want DC to win one. They could get some viewers then. They could get some money. They can get some revenue. Then they can start making some chances. There was thoughts of making this a rated R movie, and then they just shirked away with it. They're like, no, we can't lose the money from the teenagers that might want to go to this. We can't. But that is my opinion. Like I mentioned, this seems more like a rant/ramble than a review, because I just had so much on my mind, and it would have been a good idea to probably write all these down. A little bit too late now, though. The beast is out. Can't cage him back in. For me, this is definitely like a 3 out of 10. It was so infuriating to watch this movie, and a lot of people might blame the actors or whatnot. I never blame actors for a bad movie. It's not just them. They're doing their job. What it is the problem for is the people who made it, the people who bankrolled, the people who walked in and said, you can't do it this way, you have to do it that way. Those are the people I'm mad at. So I'm guessing it might be Warner Brothers. Go fuck yourself, okay? How about you let a little bit more adult theme into your movies, and you might get a better result. Maybe not. You know, I'm not really a person who went to school to determine what will make more money or not. I just know that putting your money into this movie is a mistake. At least it was for me. But I'm done. I'm not going to talk anymore. I have already tied my noose right here. And I hope you all just have a great day. And I think that's it. Fuck, that was a bad ending.